All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grand Tour, the Grand Finals between Kaiserklein and Mitoe. A bit of a delay between when the games were actually played. A lot of them were played on Escape. Speaking of which, we're now all closed down, studios shut. I'll put some links on ESOC if anyone's interested. Some sort of final goodbyes from me, Hamzak, and Robo. But it is what it is. But we do have a very, very high quality series between two very strong players coming up today. As I mentioned, Kaiserklein versus Mitoe. Picking their civs now, I'm joined by Riotcoke, aka Riot.
Yeah. Hi.
And it looks like Kaiserklein may well be going with his signature civ here. Probably to be expected.
Yeah.
Germany coming out,
It's
especially on Mendocino. That's a good trading post map for
yeah,
Germany.
and I highly doubt Mito's playing Dutch here. Mito can play Germany himself. Actually, to be honest, both players are sort of equally matched. Maybe Kaiser recently has been slightly ahead in terms of ranking wise, but Mito came off a spell on the EPL of not being not doing the best in the EPL, but honestly, since then he's been performing incredibly well. So it should be a series which should be sort of 5-4 to a nail biting sort of end, which should be really good to watch.
Yeah,
And
traditionally, series between Kaiser and Mito have always been really, really good. I've always enjoyed watching them. They've always been sort of very close, and it's good to hear Mito's on form after, as you said, a brief spell of
yeah,
him
he was
perhaps not feeling so good about the game and sort of not doing so well. But he seems to be back on form. Everything seems to be in order, and I'm pleased for him.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Mito and Kaiser I think are quite good friends anyway. They talk to each other a lot. They play against each other a lot. So uh, I think this has been a matchup which has been shown so many times. I mean, it was shown in the New World Championship. You must have done a SmackDown with these two before at some point.
Yeah, I think a couple of Smackdowns for sure.
Yeah, but we're just waiting for Mito to choose a civ now. He might even play Dutch. You never know. It's up to him. But Mito's beaten. Who did he beat to get here? I think it was Lucas, and he also beat Sompu to get here. And Kaiser's beaten Nushalbar and someone else who I've forgotten.
The bar, eh?
Yeah, Nushalbar's actually been playing really well recently. He's he beat who was it earlier? He beat Stanley Winston earlier on the TWC tournament. Um, so, but it looks like Brits from Mito,
British.
which is
Okay.
interesting.
Can you tell us the map pool, right? That's interesting seeing
You've
British. Okay,
you've
I
asked me a
suppose
question I
it's
don't
not
know.
actually a lock.
No, it's not a lock. I mean, Kaiser can switch up what he
So
wants to pick. Um,
yeah,
while we're waiting now, I will actually get the map pool up so we can have a look at what it is.
I must admit I don't have Twitch chat up. I'll have to fix that in a moment.
Oh, you've got to
Yeah,
have Twitch chat up. That's the most important thing.
yeah, of course. Yeah, that 2 minutes delayed chat is so helpful when casting, right? What would I do without it?
To be honest, I think with these two, you could probably not have a delay, and they wouldn't cheat because
Oh yeah, I think a lot of players you could that is the case. But it's better to be safe than sorry, and it is in the rules which we must respect. So we will. That is what we will do.
yeah. Hopefully, Trevor can tell me the map pool because I have absolutely no clue where to find it. Um, I think it's mostly just standard maps. So yeah, Mendocino being basically one of the most standard maps you can get. Thank you very much for Milky to subscribe to ESOC. Their
A
first
Milky,
time.
that's a
Good name.
name.
It's a good name.
I remember that guy. He's been around for a while, although I don't think he's been active recently.
Well,
If it's the same Milky that I'm thinking of, at least, anyway.
Milky underscore underscore. It's, Brambo has given me the map pool. It's Mendocino, and then Arizona, which are two trading post maps. Hudson Bay, a map we don't see very often actually. Then Arkansas, which is a map nobody can pronounce if they're English. New England, which I know you like New England as a map. You see a lot of boats and whatever.
Yeah, that is right.
Bodies
I do like New England.
Bonnie Springs is a map you don't see often. and Papa Sierra, and Colorado and Florida. But we're getting into our first game now, and it's an Iroquois mirror. So this is sort of the main test of skill if you have a mirror. There's no differences between the civs. It's just down to players' skill here. And Mendocino, which is a good map for both. Obviously for both, because they're both the same civ.
All right. Shall we get into this then? Kaiserklein versus Mitoe. Game number 1 in a best of 9 series between... well, oh god, my UI has done something funky.
Is it broken?
Yeah.
Do you want to restart now, or do you want to just...
No, I think there's a way to fix it.
The way you fix it is you can either type in fix UI by pressing a button. I don't know what button it is, but opening the console. But what you need to do is it like black lines all everywhere?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, you need to restart your game and you need to reinstall the UI. So
well, because I just installed ESOC Patch and Age of Empires 3 today, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it.
Yeah, it is. You need to reinstall it.
So I thought it was baked into the ESOC Patch.
It does, but it bugs. Should we ask Mitoe and Kaz if we can restart? Because it would be better if you had a UI.
Yeah, plus, yeah, I think we should. Why?
I should have said why beforehand. I mean, you can cast with it like that. It's a bit crap otherwise.
Yeah, I can't really see anything. Oh dear.
So yeah, what you need to do is you need to go on to the page on ESOC. I can get it for you. You need to install Ace's UI with your resolution, and then uninstall the UI, and then it works.
Okay. Why do I have to do that?
Because I think the one which is baked into it is on the wrong resolution or something. I don't know. This happened to me the first time I tried to cast as well, and it was pretty annoying.
All right. You've got a link, you said.
I'll get it for you now. I think it's this one.
Yeah, today I've been making a new scenario that I had some inspiration for, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. I wonder if I can make that. So I've been trying to make it today, but
Have you sort of gotten back into Age of Empires? Because I know you had a time where you were a bit iffy about it, and you or maybe just taking a break really. But have you got the flame back in you to start casting
EPL
again?
reigning champ, says Azemk on his. That's a cool badge.
Yeah, because A's team won the EPL, didn't they? They
Yeah, that is. Yeah, well, yeah, the badge is very cool. Okay, so let's download this. I will get this all installed as my first order of priority, what I'm focusing on. And then we can get back in ASAP. Yeah, okay, now I have to uninstall it? Or do I have to watch the game first?
You don't actually have to uninstall it, but next time you actually want to play the game, you want to uninstall it. But it doesn't matter. So just for now,
I'll
don't
leave
uninstall.
it. Right. Well, at least we can cut all this junk out and have a much cleaner intro for the YouTube video.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. To answer your question, well, I don't know. We were going in 5 days a week to the studio just to sort of pack it up. It was all very disappointing, and just felt a bit sort of, you know, I guess a bit burnt out and a bit, as I said, disappointed with the whole thing. And I've just been playing a lot of other games recently, Witcher 3, because I always told myself the best way to play that is to just become Geralt. You have to commit 3 weeks to it, play it 8 hours a day, make it your full-time job. So I thought, right, this is a game that's been on my radar for like 4 years since I bought it when it came out, and I never actually managed to get around to finishing it. But now I've like started it again. I'm going to play it to the end.
Yeah.
And
there's a movie coming out for it soon as well, isn't it?
Yeah, on Netflix. That's right. Anyway, to answer your question, I've just been sort of recently feeling a bit, as I said, burnt out. So
yeah, that's fair enough.
I've been doing other things. I've been playing other games, as I said. But I wouldn't miss the grand finals of a game of this caliber, Mito and Kaiser. And I will pop my head into cast every now and again, but I think as far as Age of Empires goes, with Escape, being over, my priority would be, or the thing I would like to do more, because I did casting for a whole year full time,
Yeah.
would be to sort of focus on YouTube videos. There's a lot of YouTube videos that I have in mind, like a lot of tutorials, strategies, guides, just tips, and all sorts of like polished content. That's the kind of thing I want to make, and that's the kind of thing that's like exciting me at the moment. Casting, will always be something I'll do, but at the moment, after having just done it for a whole year, I'm not like super motivated to do SmackDown once a week.
Oh no, that's fair enough.
Although I would like to do it, occasionally, maybe, but just not like on a regular schedule for the time being. But anyway, I'll stop talking. It's up to whoever to include that monologue. It's not really necessary. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in a best of 9 series between Kaiserklein and Mito. It will be an Iroquois mirror on Mendocino. This is the grand finals of the Grand Tour, of all things. We had a bit of a break from the Grand Tour for the EPL, I'm going to call it the ESOC Champions League. It's not really what it was. It was the ESOC Premier League, but I like to say that because it reminds me of ECL, which was the Escape Champions League. But yeah, that was a really interesting tournament where players were bought. I'm sure you've all seen it. I won't talk about that, but lots of good games there. But now going back, cast your mind back to when Escape was up and running. We were doing a lot of wacky sort of weekend events, some not so wacky, some quite competitive, a mixed bag really. But throughout that, players were generating points. Leading up to really this grand final, or actually I should say a playoff involving the top players who accrued the most points. But here we have Mito and Kaiserklein battling it out for first and I suppose second place. Not super surprised to see these names here, although I have been told by Riot in a couple of earlier attempts that you, dear viewer, will not have to witness me trying to reinstall the UI and all that sort of nonsense. But these two went through a couple of big names to get to this grand final.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiser going through Nushuba, who was one of the top players in the EPL, scoring quite a lot of points, really. And Mito going through Sumpu, he's actually straight flooring Sumpu 4-0, which was a bit of an interesting series to watch, if I may say so. But yeah,
that's impressive.
And he also took out Tabin. So Tabin being a star of the New World Championships a couple of months back. He actually lost to Mito, I think 4-2 in the end, actually. So, yeah, Mito is sort of known for being somewhat, I don't really know the word here, defeatist, where he gets down a bit when he loses the game, but now he's in his stride. It looks like he's ready to go and ready just to sink his teeth into Kaiser, basically.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. You mentioned Mito a little bit off during the EPL, but back on form, and clearly he's in the grand finals here after the playoffs. So we'll see how Mito, he's in the color teal up here as usual. Look at those villagers gathering right under the TC. Mito's done quite a nice job of herding there, killing the deer right underneath. That's looking really, really good. Of course, though, Kaiser doing the same. I don't think we would expect anything less from these top two players. But shall we take a look at the treasures that they have collected so far? Looks like 2 war dogs there, plus the bear that he converted earlier. Mito off to a really nice start, or through during this sort of 2-minute mark in the colonial age. Big sort of Pokemon army being built up here. Kaiser, though, not too far behind. 80 food is pretty good. So has got a little bit of extra food. Perhaps he'll get up to the next age, but a bit sooner.
Yeah, those
Mito has the edge up in queue.
He does, but those 2 war dogs are actually pretty big. I mean, Kaiser, he wants to go for a TP, obviously, as Iroquois. But if those 2 war dogs and that black bear can get on them, they do a lot of damage. These war dogs basically representing a Huss, and that black bear doing an extra 10 damage itself. He's going to try and get the tomahawk by the looks of it, but he's just going to be harassed constantly here. And,
it looks like Mito going south, perhaps to get into position for trading post as well. There's also another treasure down here too. Perhaps not 2 sheep. I'm surprised he's leaving the tomahawk up there. Perhaps he thinks Kaiser won't go for it just because he's likely to have his the threat of his units nearby. So Kaiser not going to go for that actually.
Yeah, and thankfully for Kaiser, he actually is probably going to get the TP up. I mean, his Explorer is 440 HP. The War Dogs are just protecting this hunt or just scouting for Mitoe here. So he's not actually going to spot him. He might spot the Black Bear, but that's not going to do too much damage. And he's also going to age before that, so he's going to get the HP. So honestly, I think it's just about an equal age one, maybe slightly in favour of Mitoe. But let's have a look at the decks of the players. They're basically equal, actually. The only difference is Kaiser has a different upgrade in age 1.
Oh yes, that's right. I was struggling to see any difference, and the point at which that upgrade will become relevant is very, very late in the game. So functionally identical decks here from both these players. Mitoe now up to the next stage. His War Hut Travois making its way across the map, and will be going for a position in the center there. Kaiser is going to come across that pretty soon, so could get some sieging done if he desires. On the other hand, his War Hut is going to stay at home. Crack shots the War Dog there, nicely done. And looks like he should be able to take down this bear as well, sort of kiting forward towards it. Yeah, it does take that out.
Yeah, and what that really signals to me is that Kaiser's obviously going to age up to the Fortress Age. I assume Mitoe's going to do the same. By the looks of it, he's not actually making anything, which is to be expected. But Mitoe basically gets half of the map for free now. That gold mine in the centre of the map for Iroquois especially is really powerful because obviously you can send 4 Kenya or you can send 5 settlers, which probably both players are going to do. Although, by the looks of it, yeah, 5 settlers coming in for Mitoe. And he's also got something in queue by the looks of it. Yeah, he's got 5 Tomahawks in queue and Kaiser's got a couple of hyenas. So Kaiser's just going to be fine. He's going to go straight to the next stage. But as the game progresses, that gold mine in the middle is quite important.
Yeah, good position for the War Huts. And quite a number of villagers up here gathering from food nearby as well. First 5 Tomahawks sort of hit the board here. And it looks like we see in response Aena coming out from Kaiser, sort of a bit more of a defensive unit. It would seem, given that they can be protected sort of near the TC. Certainly, they're good against the Tomahawk, so a nice choice. No cavalry on the board, so seem to be good.
Yeah, Indians are pretty good in there because if he's just aging in base, he can just get away with it. He's even going to put a small wall up on the left here, which will protect against some Kenyas going around the back. And if he gets into a sticky situation where there is 4 Kenya out, he can always just ship or use the big button from the town centre and just get his 5 Tomahawks out, which protects his areas nicely. I don't think he needs to do that. I don't think Mitoe's going to push here. I think he's just going to mass a small amount. And probably age up himself, although Mitoe is still making Tomahawks.
Yeah.
And there's the 4 Kenya, so this is probably Mitoe's push.
So the wall's actually going to be quite helpful, perhaps going to stop those Kenya getting onto the Aena so easily. They'll sort of have to go around. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It would seem that Mitoe is going to push with these units, appear to be moving towards that trading post. Seems to be the first thing they want to deal with.
Yep, and he's going to take that down. Mitoe might even just take this opportunity to take the TP line and get the bonus there. He is actually building a wall in the centre of the map, which is... I don't know why he's doing it, if I must be honest. Maybe to slow down Kaiser's Fortress Age push, which he's going to have.
I think, and it could also be he's concerned that his war huts could be attacked if Kaiser has been massing in the same way that he has. In fact, obviously we know that that's not the case. He's not got nearly as many units, but with Mitoe's army sieging the trading post, perhaps he's wants a tiny bit of extra buffer, and 1,500 hit points in the form of a wall could be what keeps that war hut up in Mitoe's mind. Since he's not sure how many units his opponent has there. So perhaps just a bit of a hedge. And as you said as well, it's going to be helpful in the Fortress Age either way.
Yeah, but...
against Kaiser's Fortress, I should clarify.
Yeah. And although Mitoe might pick off the Travois as it comes out here from Kaiser, which would be really quite bad. So if Kaiser can get that out and get the war hut out, what he needs, there's the Tomahawks.
I wonder if it's probably going to come out of the war hut, right?
Oh,
That's
actually,
the
yeah.
safest
place.
place for it. But no, it does. It comes out the TC, but we'll be okay all the same. Looks like though those Canyon few tomahawks being pulled off to go and deal with it. But Corral is going to go up perfectly fine.
Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 Canyon left. He's going to go down from TC fire. Mitoe's almost definitely sending Forest Prowlers or the Musket Riders shipment. And he's just going to be fine here. He hasn't even sent the 5 Tomahawk Big Button yet. Mitoe has done. But he's going to lose his hyenas, but I don't think he minds too much about that. It's just buying him time. But those 2 wall pieces actually bought him a lot of time. And allowed him to get that corral up in the bottom right. So Mitoe's push, although it did a little bit of damage, it didn't really do that much.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's done too much. Kaiser finds himself in the Fortress Age. He's only lost 1 villager and 5 Aena. He did lose his war hut, so that that is worth pointing out. But he's gotten to the Fortress Age. His first shipment has now arrived. It's not being immediately threatened or immediately killed as it arrives, and he's going to be able to rebuild that war hut. So yeah, Kaiserklein in quite a good spot here, but Mitoe certainly is fine as well. It's he got some damage done and still has quite a large army and has the score lead at the moment.
He does have the score lead, but he just sent 7 hyenas, which obviously is a very good shipment. It's 700 food, so it's basically the same as crates in that sense. But yeah, Mitoe's sort of stuck in H2 now, and you don't want hyenas versus Forest Prowlers. And he's also got a number of Musket Riders here. He's got 8, I think it's 8 or 9 Musket Riders. So any canyons he makes aren't really going to be doing too much damage. And I don't know. I think this is just a mistake from Mitoe sending 7 hyenas here. He should have just aged it up himself, and then he would have been completely fine.
That is certainly an option, isn't it? Going up, following your opponent up to the next stage. But, clearly Mitoe decided that 7 Hyena, that's what he wanted to do. Perhaps he thought he had, enough tempo from killing the war hut and, getting a little bit done in his opponent's base. I mean, clearly he thinks that 7 Hyena is what he wants to do and is going to commit to sort of dealing with Kaiser's Fortress Age army with his colonial one. Whether that will be effective is we're about to find out and see if maybe he should have gone to the Fortress Age like you were saying here. But let's see what he can get done. Has managed to defend the war hut temporarily there. I think the wall being instrumental, but what a volley from...
Yeah, that crack shot was insane. 6 Tomahawks do come out, though, and they're going to get nice shots off on the Tomahawks that Kaiser brought back. And there's not a lot of Musket Riders here, so if they get sniped down by the hyenas, which can actually do a lot of damage here, Kaiser has to get back.
He sent have actually been reasonably effective. Yeah, but Kaiser now has gotten the range advantage. He finds his Forest Prowlers have closed the gap there, and those Aena aren't able to fire anymore. The Canyon Horsemen hot on the trail, wanting to close that gap. Look, managed to get the Aena up close. The Musket Riders now being forced to be in range of those Aena as they try to kill off those Canyon Horsemen. Mitoe really doing a good job of kiting those Aena forwards and focusing down the Musket Riders, which are really important to get rid of. So that his cavalry can continue the snare, and they have managed to keep the Forest Prowlers within good range, and now forced at the edge of the map, and it looks like they're all going to be cut down, and Mitoe has managed to make that colonial, or staying in the colonial age that looked, questionable, look really, really good. Second crack shot!
Oh, it's Iroquois cannon, isn't it, that crack shot? It's insane. Have you seen the stats of his Explorer as well? 1,250 HP and 36 range attack. He's a one-man army. Oh, this positioning is so nice from Kaiser, but he misses it. He misses the Tomahawks on his Aenas. Although, saying that, he's got another batch of Forest Prowlers out, and I think he just cleans it if he has good Mitoe, and Kaiser's Mitoe is pretty decent.
Yeah, Kirish is taking out those Aena there, and against the melee Tomahawks, he's sort of doing a good job of really running them ragged. Those Tomahawks following around a lone Kirish, and yeah, Kaiser does manage off the back of the 5 Kirish shipment to sort of perhaps Mitoe wasn't as far ahead as we thought.
No, I think Mitoe not aging there was just a mistake. Obviously, the Aena can get in shots against the Forest Prowlers, and he did clean up a bit, quite a lot over to the right. But the 5 Cuirassiers coming in now with Forest Prowlers, just clean up there, really, don't they? But yeah, an interesting game 1. Mitoe playing more aggressively. Normally, Mitoe's playstyle is more laid back and normally just in base, just building an economy up, but he took the fight and unfortunately it didn't work out for him.
So I've got a new scenario in the works. I'm sure you're familiar with my scenario cards and my
I am,
scenario
yeah.
tiny free for all. Well, I've got another one. It's considerably more casual, but it's something that I'm really excited to be building, and I've been making it all day. That's what I've done with my day. Let me tell you what it is, and I want to get your initial thoughts because I have a feeling that I don't know. We'll see. So, picture this: two players sort of start on opposite sides of the map, as is the usual for my sort of scenarios. It's one of these sort of mini games, a competitive mini game, although maybe not so competitive because players are shown. They've got three flags. Imagine, have you played Hearthstone?
I haven't played Hearthstone. I know what it's sort of about, Hearthstone.
Right, right. Well, there's a mode called the arena where you sort of draft a deck. You're shown three options and you pick a card, and then you're shown three more options and you pick another card, and you have to build a deck like that. So I've decided to make perhaps something inspired by that in Age 3, where you're shown three units, or perhaps, if you're shown a hussar, you'd be shown maybe two musketeers, right? So they're going to be, the options will be resource balanced, but you sort of have to draft an army. And once you've spent, once you've got a certain number of units, both players are sort of showing random units, and you keep picking units, you keep building your composition, and then the two armies go head to head in the middle. Except you have absolutely no control over the units; they sort of just fight themselves.
Okay, so it's a bit like sending in a sort of a bot to go fight for you, and then you choose which ones you spawn.
Yeah, I mean, I've made micro scenarios before. Cards, I like
Yeah.
to think, is something like that, and so is Time to Micro, which Azamp made. They're very good. But this, I just wanted to like. The idea is you pick a unit, and then you go. The units fight each other, and then like the units that you had in the first round, they persist. They sort of stay. So you keep adding to the units you'd picked before, and you keep building this composition. Um, and yeah, I'm just wondering how it will play out. Wondering what you think.
Is it like a testing phase? Because you could always put it up on ESOC or get some of the guys from the staff to have a look at it. Because it sounds really
Yeah,
interesting actually now I think about it. There's a game mode where you get like it's not obviously not the same, but I saw Daniel play it on stream once. I think you played it on stream on
yeah. I think I know what you're about to
it's where
say.
you like buy units from like you have a saloon, you have like a barracks, and you can buy like crossbows or whatever. And it's all about as a team having units and trying to micro and whatever. I don't know what
Yeah,
it's called. I have no clue, but
it's called Arena One. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you have a variety of production buildings, and all the units cost gold. You just buy units. You have a 1,000 gold budget or whatever it is. Maybe not quite that much, but a certain amount of gold per round. And every unit you train is you get to use in each subsequent round. So you're just constantly building on top of what you had before. And yeah, it's a micro scenario. Mine's kind of similar to that, except you're choosing from random units and or sort of semi-random. But and then the bot just sort of fights. You just watch them fight, which I think will
yeah,
be
I think that's pretty cool.
exciting and not quite so. It's not meant to be super competitive. It's supposed to be okay. We've been on ESO for ages now playing, and we're just sort of hanging out and
Yeah,
chatting. Let's play this stupid mini game.
actually saying that the card game, although it obviously wasn't as competitive as the normal game, it actually ended up being pretty competitive from some games I actually saw. Because there is definitely strategy to it. Because you can obviously just pump out cards, right, and then you can flatten the other guy's TC. But then you end up running out of cards, and then you end up losing, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, the card game you made that sort of had like a sort of small meta to it at the end of it, which is
That was
quite
the
nice to see.
idea. I thought there would be, but I think that passed the time quite adequately. Actually,
It
we
did,
find
yeah.
ourselves going into game number two, and it feels like no time has passed at all. So that's absolutely splendid. But yeah, more on my game. Hopefully, when it's complete. Perhaps I'll do some more tomorrow. I don't know what I'll do, but what I do know I will do is tell you about this game right here, Kaiserklein in the south of the map in the color blue, playing as the Ottoman. starting to bring those bison under the TC. They're constructing a moss and gathering up the last of his wood. Villagers going to the TC and straight onto the food, getting the mosque down for indeed that 0.7 XP per second, and indeed a trading post as well, starting with 400 wood makes both of those buildings possible. So Kaiserklein going to have lots of XP, which is exactly what Ottoman wants early on. But as you can see, I'm sure Riot will show you, not much scouting done for the time being. He sees 60 wood next to his trading post there. I imagine he will crack shot and start going for that once the trading post is complete. And but aside from that, around the map, he's not going to know where the other treasures are. But fortunately for him, there aren't really. I think he's luckily come across one of the better treasures within his line of sight. So that is going to be quite nice for him there, picking up that 60 wood. Mitoe in the north of the map in the color teal. Here he is. And he too went for a trading post. But of course, not going to be building a mosque or anything else at all for that matter.
Can you pause the game a second? Sorry, can you pause the game?
I can.
I pressed the Windows key instead of the Alt key by accident.
Riot tabbed out, apparently.
Yeah, I should disable my Windows key. It's pretty useless when I'm in game. But as you were talking, Mitoe actually picked up 50 wood, and he was able to make his own trading post. Hopefully it's not lagging. It's only lagging because I alt tabbed for about 10 seconds, so I can't really do much about that. But yeah, I mean, Mitoe picked up 50 wood.
Haha. 10 coin. GG. Out. Yeah.
Yeah, last time I casted Mitoe in a game, my computer sort of turned into a dumpster fire. And it ended up, one of the fights Mitoe had with Tabn was at like 8 FPS, and they couldn't micro, so maybe, hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm playing the game on like lowest settings to make sure they have the best experience.
Okay. It sounds a lot like my scenario. You couldn't micro, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but it was China-Russia, so it was just two massive armies just clashing into each other.
That's more or less what my scenario would be. But yeah, enough of that. It's not so fun when you actually have to train the units yourself. But yeah, especially when you're training units that actually need to be, microed and such. I'm wondering how my scenario will play out, because cavalry will probably be a lot stronger, and since you can't kite at all, units will be a lot weaker. I don't know. I'll stop talking about it. I'm just excited. It's what I've done all day.
Yeah.
And I haven't got anything else sort of on my mind. But Kaiserklein going up to the next stage now, very, very quickly. Not surprising, though, for the Ottoman there. The Sioux picks himself up. Nice 70 coin treasure there. Has a couple of guardians, but no super big guardians here. This map doesn't sort of have very many big guardians. There are some outlaws.
I want to see him
down on
pick
this
that
side
up.
of the map.
I want to see Mitoe pick that one up, because his warship's speed turns to like 10. It's ridiculous. it's the fastest unit in the game when you get that, I believe. But he does get 60 wood, and knowing Mitoe, he's either going to chop for more TPs or a trading post. But should we talk about this matchup a bit? We see it quite often.
Ottoman versus Sioux, yellow.
It's pretty favoured in terms of Sioux, because Sioux can just go into the third age. Obviously, Abascans are pretty useless at countering units that Sioux has, because bow riders and stuff like that are just so powerful versus them, because they have a worse multiplier than skirmishers against light cavalry. But yeah, I mean, this matchup is interesting. Normally, Ottoman we saw it quite a lot in the EPL with Bwinner, sort of the player known for playing Ottoman. He just double vax Janissary rushed Callan, and it worked out for him. So maybe we'll see the same thing. But by the looks of it, Kaiser is making a vax in base, so we won't see that.
$700 wood.
That has to be expected, though, isn't it? 700 wood. You go. Oh, Kaiser's got Mellet system as well, so he's got the first speed upgrade. He might go for something like Silk Road. I don't know, but he did go for Silk Road. Yeah, so this wood shipment is really good. It's what, 8?
A big beefy wood shipment. Trying to take control of the trading post route, get the stagecoach upgrade, and just have some insane value off of crates, off of the trading post line with that Silk Road. 3 Janissaries do come out, not a full batch, but certainly enough to scare away a war chief and get a few shots in there. It's not like Mitoe really has any units just yet. There's a corral going up at home.
Yeah, there's Kaiser's first batch of units was only a few Janissaries, which is pretty useless. But there's 5 villagers coming out for Mitoe, and one thing to remember is that what is it called? Silk Road doesn't actually affect trading posts in regards to XP. It's only trading posts in regard to the stagecoach, and there's stagecoach coming in. So honestly, I mean, Kaiser's quite far ahead on Eco now, but there's only two TPs he's ahead though. So actually, it's about equal.
His got Silk Road on them, so
he's maybe slightly ahead, but Mitoe getting.
It's funny when the Ottoman player is ahead, isn't it?
In Eco, yeah, he won't be for long. I mean, when you account for the TPs, they're probably about even, and Ottoman doesn't have any market upgrades. Kaiser, by the looks of it, going to go for either the age up, but he's got quite a lot of wood there, so I felt like he's just going to get more Janissaries and go for that TP while Mitoe ages up. Although, what's Mitoe doing? Mitoe's going Bow Rider.
He is.
I haven't really I don't know what's happening here. Mitoe's going Bow Rider, he's probably going to mass a few more, and Kaiser's obviously going to age himself. And yeah, I mean, Mitoe's going to lose that trading post, and Kaiser's just going to be... although he's going to lose his Explorer here, which I don't know why he's doing that. If Mitoe reacts, at least he will.
Yeah, Kaiser, I think, wondering what's going on. Looks like the Explorer's come to find out. But you are right, he's going to sort of go down. But he's going to kill off some of the Bow Riders. Mitoe, sorry, he's going to be killed by some Bow Riders. But Mitoe, being quite savvy, keeps 5 of them hidden. So perhaps it looks like he has fewer units than he actually has. And there's 4 Axe Riders to boot. So Kaiser's still a bit in the dark about how many units there are. He doesn't know if Mitoe is aging himself or something like that. But has, I suppose, some indication. He saw some Bow Riders, but not going to know that there are this many units sort of crossing the map. And these Janissaries could be in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, they're in
the
trouble.
Middle of the map, they're up against sort of all these units. But Kaiser quick off the ball to get into sort of melee combat there.
Yeah, Kaiser's going to lose all these 8 Janissaries for what seems to be probably 1 Axe Rider. So that's not a very good trade at all for him. And Mitoe's obviously just going to push up here. He's got a lot of Bow Riders here, actually. And what does Ottoman do here? He can't get... he's going for a second TC. It's interesting.
So regretting his decision there to siege down the trading post, but it's so tempting to do. And he got it to sort of 1/3 or perhaps 3/4 HP of it's gone, and he really wanted to build that final one since he has, the other 3 in the stagecoach, and again that upgrade, the Silk Road here, but is regretting it. Lost all the Janissaries, but does get himself up to Fortress, but finds himself up against a big Mitoe army in his base. Lots of ranged cavalry running around here at TC. Not going to last long. An interesting choice, the TC.
Yeah, I think he's just stacking 800 wood now, isn't he? So he's probably going to go up to the top right and get a TC up, yeah? And I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just a case of, I have too much wood. I need to spend it.
And yeah, he can't really make any units here. As normally in this situation, you'd chip something like skirmishers, right? Because these Bow Riders are countered by skirmishers pretty heavily, even more so in dragoons because of the resist. But he's forced to ship Janissaries. Minutemen do pop out at the same time, so you can have a nice little batch here, and Mitoe probably doesn't want to take this because of the Minutemen. But saying that, Dog Soldiers, these are just normal, not even veteran Janissaries, so maybe Kaiser should have got the veterancy upgrade when they were being shipped, and they would have been more effective. But they're just going to go down here and piecemeal. There's nothing in queue for Kaiser if I have a look here. Yeah, nothing in queue. There is a stable going down, a proxy stable up the back, which he needs. But Kaiser's in a rough position here.
Yeah. Yeah, best he could have hoped for, 8 Jans and Minutemen. But still a lot of units, and Mitoe going to have no trouble taking out that barracks there with these units. 1,000 wood does arrive, and we thought that Kaiser had too much wood, that he made a town center because he had too much wood. Maybe, though, He actually wants to have even more wood. Perhaps we'll see a third town center. Uh, and certainly it'll be used to replace these military buildings that are being destroyed. But he must be going for 3 town centers, which, you know, as Ottoman, they do train for free. But I just feel like there's a lot of Mitoe military, and town centers don't appear to be the answer. But it is what he's doing. Third TC has been dropped. I'm quite excited for the boom, but the Ottoman boom.
Yeah, and Abbasid Market now is coming in, so these villages are going to be produced very quickly, especially with 3 TCs popping out. And does Mito know about these 3 TCs? We don't know, because obviously he doesn't get the line of sight from the carriage going past them, that trading post line. One thing that is good to remember is that these bow riders are sort of useless in terms of siege. So only 10 siege apiece. So this town centre is not going to go down anytime soon, I don't think.
No, you're absolutely right. They've got very, very little siege. So 10. I mean, there are 22 villages inside that though, so they are sort of doing work in the sense that they're keeping pretty much all of Kaiser's eco bottled up, and stopping him from gathering that wood, I suppose. But given that he's doing quite a lot of damage per shot, and he has 3 trading posts with Silk Road working away, perhaps he's okay to have so many idle villages. And it appears that that those bow riders are being whittled away, and that the villagers are now able to return to work. They're going to come across the other TC, and I think Mito's now going to realize sort of what's going on here. Kaiser in the back has been massing up some bow horsey boys of his own, and is going to force Mito's away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to thank Daniel for donating $1 to. I think it's $1. I don't think it's a pound, but to ESOC, saying easy for Kaiser. So he's got his bet in. But yeah, this is actually quite a good position for Kaiser. Although saying that, Mito's economy is booming behind this, and he can quite easily age himself, although he doesn't look like he's going to.
Yeah, well, you say it's booming behind, but
Oh no, he is up. He's up. He's up in the fortress age. I didn't realise. Sorry.
You say he's booming behind, but his villager count is really only 4 ahead, which is not many at all, given that there are so many trading posts of Kaiserklein. I'm actually really surprised that Kaiser was able to just build 3 town centers and find himself in this position. That's astonishing to me.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, Kaiser's going to go for cavalry archer Abascan. When you have a good economy as Ottoman, your mass is just insane. I mean, Abascans, even if they aren't amazing versus cavalry or versus bow riders, if you get enough in mass, they're just ridiculous. Like there's nothing as good as them, and also they get 20 range on EP, of course, with veterancy. So they actually outrange your Kino rifles. So there's 5 Abascans again. Look, he's just gonna mass out, and look how many villages he's getting now. He's producing roughly like.
He's on the same as Mito.
Yeah, and with Silk, you have to remember these 1,000 wood is what is it? 1,250 wood in age 3, which is like ridiculous. And he also sent 1,000 coin after that, so he's going to be able to pump out units forever.
Yeah, this is. I'm really enjoying this.
Still,
the Ottoman boom.
Yeah, still traps for Ottoman. That's not something you see every day, is it? So, yeah, Kaiser's doing really well here. Although, at the same time, 320 XP for Mito of his army. He's going to get another shipment out, and he's got quite a mess there.
Yeah, I mean, Mito has just sent 9 Wakina there. He's in the Fortress Age. He has been training a lot of units. He's got a good number of elite Wakinas, which are going to be really quite strong against the sort of bow riders there. And they'll sort of trade okay against, I guess, Abba's still very, very good against everything. Finding some villagers of Mito, though, that's not ideal for him. Mito is going to have to push out, I think, in response to this. Should the game continue going on, he's going to be quite far behind, especially against 3 TCs. So I expect we'll see from Mito some kind of push, which he was probably preparing for anyway. I believe that, Cav combat just coming in. So that was sort of what he was waiting for, and losing those villages is only going to make this sort of even more important. But a nice push down on the south. Might be able to get down 1 or 2 key buildings, perhaps that artillery foundry, and possibly something else before Kaiser's units can get there, although they are making their way quickly across the map.
You might get a big raid here, eh?
Yeah, instead of going for a military building, he's going to chase the villagers here. But yeah, going to try and get those dog soldiers into position on the Abyss gun, but they find themselves attacking cav archers, which is not ideal since cav archers have that 30% melee resist. But the Wakinas are coming forward, going to kill the cavalry archers. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to come forward here. I didn't realise Mitoe had even sent the big button for the dog soldiers, if I'm honest. But
I didn't realise that either. Okay. Well, he must have done, because that's how he's got all the dog soldiers.
Cavalry combat coming in for Kaiser as well. But most of Kaiser's army's down here, and there's a lot of Wakinas at the back, which are just shooting those cavalry archers. And honestly, he's getting quite a good trade here. Although, at the same time, Kaiser has a lot of map control, and he can buy a lot of time because of how many TCs he has.
Yeah. They're actually very strong. I mean, it was 500 wood for access to Minutemen.
Yeah.
You can put 10 vills in there, and they can shoot. And if you think of them like, well, an outpost is 250 wood, and the town center is, basically the same as, well, is equivalent, comparable. Town centers have always been good value, but we don't see them all that often, especially from Ottoman.
Yeah, from Ottoman, it's once in a blue moon you'll see them. What's interesting about them from Ottoman is that you can see them as sort of as an economic unit in themselves, because obviously the Ottoman villages are free, and each village has 100 food, so they're just pumping them out like a factory. But
that's true. Yeah.
They're
generating resources in a way.
Yeah, and these Abyssguns are going to get caught by the dog soldiers by the looks of it, and they're going to get taken down. But this is quite a mass for Mitoe, and he might get all the villagers on this mine, which is quite worrying, really. And Kaiser's eco population now is 0. Military population is 0 now, and the eco population is going to be about the same.
Oh dear. Oh snap. Kaiser has been thwarted.
Yeah. I mean.
And now Mitoe takes the eco lead, at least on villages.
Yeah, Mitoe actually was down about 50 score, and now he's actually up. He's up by 8 score. I wonder what Kaiser's doing now. He has got all the upgrades for his villagers that he can possibly get, except from amalgamation, which I doubt he's going to get. But imagine if Mitoe finds us over here, that'd just be game over if he can scout that. And he's also going to lose 4 more villagers in this town centre, which is being sieged down.
Yeah. Although, as you pointed out earlier, very little siege on the boat riders.
And the Wakinas also have 15 siege. Although he's what is he dancing for? Oh, he's only got 2.
There's a lot of units here sieging, so it's fine.
Yeah, dog soldiers are bringing the most siege there, 42 each. Oh, the Mamluks are going to come out with cavalry archers behind. And one thing to remember about Mamluks with Ottoman is they get affected by cavalry combat. So
wow, that's such bullshit, really, isn't it?
They do 40 attack and they have 1,600 HP.
Like that. If you asked me, like, what's the single best unit that is upgraded by cavalry combat, and the answer is like a Mameluke, that is just it, right?
Spahi, I think, are in age 5.
Okay, well, I mean, like, in terms of the amount of HP.
Oh yeah.
Single buff.
They start with 1,250, right? So they're just ridiculous. One thing to note with Mitoe
Sadly, for Kaiser, they didn't get too much done. There were a lot of bow riders there, so 4 Mamelukes are
less 1,000.
not going to.
1,000 coin as well. He's just basically wasted down the drain there to not get anything out of it. Although if
Kaiser thought it would achieve more.
Yeah, but one thing to note is that Mitoe doesn't actually have many resources, and a lot of his villagers are idle. There's 8 at the moment just sitting there doing nothing. And
yeah, most of the hunt, actually, all of resources are on Kaiser's side of the map. That's a really interesting point.
Because Ottoman obviously doesn't take as much hunt as Sue, because of Sue's big button being 1,500 coin, and there's also the fact that Ottoman villagers don't cost anything. He is going to find all the villagers over to the left here, more than likely, in that tower.
Yeah, he is. and has some villagers on that mine going down as.
So yeah, this is becoming a bit of a scrappy game because obviously there's no resources here. Both players know where the resources are, and it's just a fight for that. There are a couple of villagers at the top, which Kaiser's going to take down with his 5 hussars. They are colonial hussars, but they do have cavalry combat, so they are pretty powerful. And,
Goodness me, there's units everywhere. They're all over the map in this game.
And again, I mean, Ottoman is ahead of Eco, and now if you look at the military unit population, they're handily ahead, 72 to 48. Albeit most of the Ottoman units are worse in terms of quality than the Sioux units. But Mito's going to lose quite a few bow riders here, actually.
Yeah, well, cav combat is a meaningful upgrade, and they are on the veteran cav art. Losing some more villagers over here. Good lord, there's a lot of scrappiness. Has got a sizable number of Abbas guns now back. You know, Kaiser's had a few really weird bounces this game. He's gone from absolutely no military back to right up again. We've seen that weird 3 TCs pumping villages.
Yeah, and
peculiar stuff.
Mito at the same time just run out of resources now. There's a villager fight going up the top. You just missed it. We were just shooting at each other, villagers. But Mito's even going down for a TC himself with the villagers. So well, he doesn't want to take this fight. Yeah, there's no way he wants to take this fight. But yeah, the Abbas guns are just too good. Although the Axe-Riders might get on top of them. Nah, they're fine. Mito's sending 9 bison now, so he's.
And that's GG from Mito. I guess he just ran out of food.
Yeah, he ran out of.
He looks so far ahead when he'd killed all of the military unit pop and all those Mamelukes, which was only.
Yeah, it's only 5 minutes ago that happened, really.
Not even that, like
4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Mito's he just didn't capitalise on the fact that Kaiser went for such a greedy build. He could have aged up himself, got a number of rifle riders out, and just harassed the villagers. If Kaiser got his Explorer Corps, the game would have completely turned on its head. But unfortunately for Mito, it didn't happen.
Really peculiar, because I wonder if this has any bearing on it. The Sioux have, well, very little siege on any of their units. Was just 3 TCs, like a tactical decision from Kaiser?
I think
thought, okay, I'll just make lots of TCs. What's Sioux gonna do about it?
Yeah, Sioux's units actually, if they get into the Fortress Age, do have a lot of siege because siege dance is just insane. Axe Riders end up having like 60 siege or something ridiculous. So he could have taken them down quite easily, but I think what Kaiser was going to do is he was going to try and take down Mito's training post, which for the whole game he actually wasn't able to do. And he wanted to secure the whole TP line for himself, and when that didn't happen, he just decided to go for town centres. Although you might be completely right in the fact that Mito... Kaiser just had that in his mind as a game plan the whole game.
Damn. That's a thing.
Yeah, if we look at villager population, you can see how quickly it went up.
I'll be right back, 1 second.
Of course, sure. At 10 minutes, Kaiser had 22 villagers, and that sort of doubled in 4 or 5 minutes when he got those TCs up, which is pretty incredible. And at the same time, resource scarcity ended up killing Mito as well. So let's jump into the next game, which is on Hudson Bay. I bet we don't really see very often, actually, in games which are casted nowadays, because it's more of a team map, if I recall. But Kaiser's just a starting, and by the looks of it, Mito is probably going to host. Yeah, there you go. Kaiser's hosting. I'll wait until Mito gets in.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, a weird thing I wanted to ask you about that's not related to Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Was You sound almost exactly like somebody from a podcast that I quite enjoy in listening to. You sound almost exactly like this guy, and I know it's not. Obviously, I'm a smart guy. I know it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're not the same person. But I do want to know, firstly, where is your accent from, and also what are you studying at uni? Because I
So
know you're at uni.
so this is the weirdest thing. I have I was born in obviously in Southampton, which is in the south, but the Southampton accent is a bit like the London accent, like a Scouser accent. It's not really defined to the area, and I have no clue why I have this accent. I think it's just put a sort of luck. My
It, it's a very it's quite I say it's a really good radio voice. Like
I could do a shipping forecast on Radio 2 or Radio 4 whenever that puts
yeah,
on.
Radio 4, Radio
Yeah.
4. That's, so let me contextualize for non-Brits. So Radio 1 is like, you know, the sort of modern
Kids' music.
music. Yeah, you know, like modern music, modern DJs talking about modern stuff, and it's all like, yeah, let's play some good music in your ears. Yeah, let's go. Radio 2 is a bit more highbrow, and we talk about varying topics, and there's different shows. And then Radio 4 is like the old man station where they talk about politics and just
It's
really
it's
boring
dull.
shit. And it's like, I actually really like Radio 4. I'm such a boring person. They have so many really interesting talk shows, but that's the kind of content they make.
Yeah.
And Riot sounds like just a generic presenter
I
for,
thought
for Radio 4.
I sound a bit like Ken Bruce of Radio 2 when he in the morning. But as for university, I study consumer behavior and marketing, which is
Oh, you're one of those.
which is very
Okay.
dull. It's
No, I bet that's really interesting.
no, it's not.
No, okay.
90% of it is learning about how to read quantitative statistics, which is just the most dull thing I've ever done in my life. I would have rather done your course in linguistics and had a bit more fun, maybe. But
Sorry, do what? What?
I would have rather done linguistics like you.
Yeah.
We just got a $5 donation from someone called Faith, who I've unfortunately never heard about before. But
But thank you
I've
very
heard
much.
of
We do
before.
appreciate it. That is what makes
makes ESOC go round and makes us allows us to spend money on tournaments or whatever. Well, Interjection videos is just subscribed. Thank you very much, Will, for subscribing to ESOC for the 40th month in a row.
I'm a founder.
You are you're like the first 25 to sub.
Oh,
I can actually sub as well, so I'll do the same.
I didn't realize I was a founder. That's cool. Well, now I don't want to unsubscribe.
Yeah, I don't think you lose it because Wicked Cossack has it, and he wasn't subscribed for a while.
I think I'm gonna time out The Last Samurai.
No,
I don't care.
it's TLS. You can't time him out.
He's being a dick. I don't care.
He's whoa. You can't time him out. He's a good lad, you know.
Well, how about he gets the fuck on the show and talks about something to fill the time instead of fucking dickhead.
I had a nice conversation actually.
I don't give a shit.
to-
I think he's a dickhead.
uh,
No, Last Samurai has some good streams actually. I quite enjoy.
I want him to cast. I
tuning
think
in
it would be the
from time to
funniest. Yeah, I want him to cast it. It would have been the funniest thing to see him cast because he's no nonsense, isn't he, as a person? But should we talk about the game instead?
No, I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
I don't actually think those things about Last Samurai. It's just I was just venting for no reason in particular.
Yeah, but in regards to this series, which is what we should be talking about now, maybe, is it's going to be Portugal versus Sue on this map, which is interesting. I think I have no clue if it's going to be frozen or not. I think it might be random. So, how good Mitoe's pick of Portugal is going to be luck based. I think, or I might not be entirely correct.
Luck based. This is a deterministic game.
No, because if the map is frozen over, there's less fish, I believe. I might be completely wrong. I don't really play this map at all, so I might just be talking out my arse. So it is a good map for Portugal, of course. So.
Mr. Brentwood typed him out. Rip. I don't actually give a shit. Let's just to clarify.
Thank you very much, Sompu, for donating a string of text of which I'm not going to read out. But thank you for your $1. Actually, did you see Brown Boy beat Jeramuno the other day?
No, don't worry, Sompu. I'll read it out. Let me go find it.
If you scroll up and look at Trevor's comment, or post, he posted it earlier.
Okay, I'm not going to read it out. Just reading the comments. Let's get into this. Yeah, so what do we got? Sioux versus Portuguese. Well, that was pretty ideal. It starts just as I start talking.
Yeah, and it looks like it's the summer version of Hudson Bay. At least from the picture. The picture might be lying. I always picture lies, so it is lying. Oh, that's good. But winter when you can still build a dock and you still got a spawn point, so it's good for Portugal. But it's an interesting matchup, and it's a wood start as well, which is better for Sioux. Portugal with wood start is pretty useless. I haven't seen Mitoe play Portugal actually before.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't recall. You say I haven't seen Mitoe play it before, and I'm thinking, have I? For some reason, I feel like Mitoe is quite competent with the Portuguese. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's quite strong with every civ, but I can't think of a time. I'm sure he's played it before.
He must have done at some point, but he's going to go for a trading post, and he's going to chop some wood. He got 40 wooden base, which is a bit unfair, really, but that's how treasures work in this game. Sioux is going to find that 80 food treasure, and he's probably going to convert one of the guardians. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Yeah, he's going to. There you go. He's going to use that and take it down. And 80 food is a nice boon to his early economy, and he's going to age up faster. One thing to know about Sioux and all the war chiefs is they have a better age to shipment in regards to the privateers. They get 3 privateers a shipment instead of 2 caravels, which is pretty insane actually. That's basically a frigate. So he could deny water quite easily if Kaiser plays his cards right.
Plays his cards right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm back in the room. I was reading the chat in the aftermath of my since due to the 2 minute delay. Anyway, I'm back. Here we are. Let's get into this. Yes, Mitoe playing as Portuguese. Have we seen him play Portuguese before? I'm sure he's played lots of Portugal. Kills the.
That was quite cool. Did you see what Kaiser actually did though? Mitoe did even. Oh, what's going on there? A bit of lag, but.
Well, he's pulling a Guardia, I think.
Did you see Guardia did it again? He did it on live stream.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, but a bit of interesting contention here. Oh god, I'm zooming in too much here. Mitoe went for the Eco Theory, which is interesting, instead of going for something like schooners first.
Well, that's sad, yeah.
Losing his rifleman.
Okay, we'll take a look at the cards and such in a moment, but a lot of contention over this 90 food treasure, and I'm not surprised. There's just one Guardian left there. Some impressive moves with that death, but it looks like Mitoe will be able to pick that up. I'm talking about shipments, as you mentioned. Eco Theory. Definitely the longer term shipment there, rather than saving it, or perhaps sending schooners or something like that. Gonna go for Eco Theory, so I guess that's fine. Yeah, Mitoe does get that 90 food, but Kaiser will get himself 125 wood, which is quite nice over here. And 3 villagers coming out from Kaiserklein to be expected there. Nothing sort of out of the ordinary. Both players now going up to the next stage. Kaiser going with the chief. And indeed, Mitoe going up the same, the quartermaster there. And we will see how this sort of pans out. What do you think he's got in his mind? Mitoe sending Eco Theory there. He's definitely got the long game in mind, it would seem.
Yeah, and would not be surprised in the slightest if he went for the Schooner's shipment next, especially with a TP. I have to thank How to Talk Please Help, someone who's donating a lot of money to ESOC. Actually, he just donated $100 to this. So whoever wins this gets an extra $50. Very much welcome for that.
Oh baby, is that how that works?
Yeah, so half of the donations go to the Grand Tour final, which is quite cool. So in essence, now the difference is what $160 between first and second place. So this is basically, as it stands now, if you disregard everything else, a $160 show match, if you will.
That's fair.
What am I saying here?
50 gold. That's a big treasure. Mitoe's just piling them up.
He is.
950 gold and another 90 coin here. Although Kaiserklein coming in at the last moment, though, won't be picking that up. Lots and lots and lots of coin. Mitoe really stacking that from the treasures, but is now up to the next stage. Riot. There's that town center wagon. Shall we take a look at where it sort of goes? It appears to be heading towards the coast and will be going down next to the dock that he has placed here. So interestingly enough, Mitoe sent Eco Theory first. I suppose that makes sense. Get some value out of it during transition, and then proceeds to send schooners on top of that. So this is incredibly, 2 age 1 shipments here. Investing a lot into his early game economy. So when we said he had the long game in mind, that was absolutely the case through and through.
Yeah, Kaiser's actually now building a forward war hub with his villagers, which is an interesting thing you don't normally see of Sue. Sue normally just sort of sits in base and gets all their hunts up and whatever they do. And there's a settler treasure taken from Kaiser's explorer, and another $50 donation from Warner AOE.
Oh.
Warner and he says, strong. How did these noobs get into the final? My thoughts exactly. I thought the final was going to be me versus Sheckler. Which is obviously.
Sorry, that tickled me. I don't. Thank you very much, Border. That's very generous. I hope the escape hat and shirt. I think you bought a shirt, hoodie.
He sent a picture of it actually. He sent a picture of him wearing it. So
yeah, I hope they've worked out for you. I am now the proud owner of quite a large number of escape merchandise because of recent happenings. But and I can confirm they are very comfortable. You're lucky to actually have a piece of that. There's no more for sale. That's kind of obvious. Kaiser, 5 villagers coming out behind this. So in response to Mitoe's incredibly boomy schooners Eco Theory start, not going to be aggressive or anything like that. I suppose it's going to send 5 villagers and play it out from there. Has some war clubs out.
Yeah, war clubs as a siege are pretty depressing actually. Pikes have what is it? I think 32 siege, and war clubs are actually more expensive and have less siege. They are better against cavalry slightly. Actually, no, they're not. War clubs are just straight worse units, except when they have 10 extra rangers, melee resist. But that TP is going to go down, and by the looks of it, Mitoe's going to age up relatively quickly. He isn't going for the full Kinesi and going for rendering plant directly after schooners and then going for whale oil or something. He's just going to pump out these from 2 docks, and obviously schooners on EP is really good. 2 docks is the same as basically 4 docks on RE. So his economy is going to be booming before he even knows it.
You make fishing rates so quickly with schooners.
But yeah, behind this, Kaiser's going for the TP line, and obviously Mitoe knows this, because Stagecoach has already come in, and you can see how many TPs Kaiser has on the top right. But yeah, I mean, is he going to be able to outboom the fishing boom? I'm not entirely sure about that.
There's no way, right? Like, I think Kaiser's best. I think Kaiser's hope is send 5 villagers, just because that's a strong shipment. Get up to the fortress age. Pardon me. Yeah. What am I even saying? Has a few units out, is doing a bit of damage here. War clubs have taken out a trading post. War clubs are now sieging down a barracks here, harassing with a few units because he can. His opponent isn't going to have any due to the nature of what what Mitoe is doing. And then get to the Fortress Age, and that's where he's going to really try and make his stand and contest this giant economy and try and do some damage before it can really start to pay off too much. I suppose is his game plan here.
Yeah, and Kaiser's also aging. He does have 4 war canoe shipment in his deck. This town centre's probably not going to go down.
I'm not.
Or maybe it will
not really
do.
Concerned for it. It's
no! It's going to go down. No, it isn't. No, it is. It is. It's going to go down.
No, surely. Oh my god, no! Oh, what?
Oh, that's awful.
I wasn't afraid for it because. But the war chief coming in clutch, standing on the foundations, and
it's awful.
Dear.
It's not too bad. I mean, Mitoe's he's ahead in eco at the moment, but he did lose quite a lot of map control with that. Although, by the looks of it, he's nearly in ready for industrial age as that happens. And when Portugal gets to industrial age, he's going to be completely fine against the Sioux army.
I was going to point out that Kaiser, I believe, does have a girlfriend. She lives in Prague, and they see each other regularly. I don't think Kaiser gives a shit either way, but I just gonna make that, just gonna put that out there for him.
Yeah, this isn't a cast anymore. This is an evening talk show instead. But
basically, ESOC gossip talk show.
Yeah, so the Wakinas are going to push forward here, and Mitoe's going to be in the next stage straight away. Although he doesn't have enough coin, he needs probably to send 1,000 coin for himself here. And without that extra TC, he's going to be facing quite a lot of pressure from the Wakinas.
Yeah.
Oh, Cassador's getting shipped to the wrong TC. That's not very good.
Yeah, they're not in a position to be helpful, are they? But oh god, Mitoe's probably going to be feeling quite frustrated because having an extra TC where this one is being sieged would make a big difference.
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
And Sopukonku, or Somali as he likes to go by apparently, has donated another $1 saying that the money isn't enough for a girlfriend, but it's enough for a massage from I Am Turk. It's nice to hear. But
that's a good rate.
Yeah, it is a good rate, yeah. He can, but this TC is going to go down, and Mitoe's going to be probably equal in eco population if he's not lucky.
It goes down, lots of villagers popping out, and they are not able to get into a TC that would be conveniently next to the first one. A lot of them going down, they're walking across the map. I think every single one of them might go down. There's so many Wakina here.
And that puts the eco population about equal. And Mitoe doesn't even have a big army here. He does have a lot of fishing boats, but that doesn't help too much.
I think that's it. Like, Mitoe's whole strategy was to be incredibly greedy. Just eco theory, schooners, tons of eco, and now he doesn't have any eco. It's all died.
Yeah, Mitoe.
And that one's a bit of a write-off. I think I'll type GG anyway, but Mitoe just gonna click out there. I don't blame him. That one, I think we'll just write that off as a mistake and say, well, never mind.
Yeah, losing that TC was just incredibly unlucky. That war chief was running into where the TC was going to go up at just the wrong time there. And honestly, Kaiser's push wasn't even that aggressive. Maybe Mitoe should have finished off his Age 1 cars and sent CM as well, which would have meant he could have defended that easily, but I guess not. But that puts Kaiser 3-0 up in a best-of-9 series.
Is it 3-0? I thought he was up to 2-1.
Wait, what? No.
This game, we're going into game number 4 next. So
yeah, but has Mitoe won a game?
Yeah, he won the previous game with the dogs. Oh no! Wait.
No, he didn't. He lost to Ottoman with that crazy 3TC boom from.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. I've got on my scoreboard that Mitoe's won a point, but apparently it's wishful thinking.
That's your bias, Will. You know.
Well, I'm not. You say I'm biased, but these two players, it's very hard for me to be biased because I have I'm very good friends with both.
Yeah, which is you don't want to take biases in when streaming anyway.
I must have just I thought, right, I'm gonna keep my scoreboard up to date just so I know what the score is, and Yeah, apparently I put a point on for Mitoe, which was not the case. Yeah, I think that game was done when he lost the TC.
Yeah, and that TC going down was just awful for Mito. But it is Arkansas next, which is good for Mito. Obviously, Mito likes TP maps. Kaiser going Germany though, which yeah, Kaiser's Germany is incredibly strong. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. But
Yeah, Mito's Germany and Kaiser's Germany, but I don't think Kaiser gets to play Germany here.
Mito can play Germany though. Mito's Germany
Yeah.
is really quite good.
Oh,
So
yeah, for sure.
I think that's something to watch out for. I mean, he could play Iroquois, I guess, but I don't think that's the smartest of ideas. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, Arkansas is a map which we see quite a lot. We saw China's quite often played on here, and Mito's China is very strong. But we'll just have to see. Have you seen Sompu casting recently? He's retired from playing competitively and he now casts.
Yeah, I heard that he was taking a break or has retired from playing games, but I didn't realize he was casting. Although I was told by Bramboy earlier today that I might be casting with Sompu, so I was quite excited for that. But I must admit, also quite nervous because I've never casted with him before, and equally, I was going to have to set up this PC and stuff to accommodate that because I haven't actually gotten OBS all fixed on the new PC. So no, I haven't actually heard him, and I'm
It's
relieved
quite.
that you're doing all the heavy lifting today.
No, I haven't been doing the heavy lifting today. I mean, Castet and Jesus casted. That's something we don't see very often. He's a player who doesn't normally cast, but looks like he's getting into strides, I think. But yeah, Sompu's doing really well for a short amount of time he's done it. And by the looks of it, though, in terms of this game, Mito might be playing Dutch, which is interesting.
The Duchy. So no, is Kaiser allowed to play Germany? I thought he.
No, he hasn't played Germany. Kaiser's played Ottoman.
Okay. Well, that's good news then. Kaiser very strong with Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiser's probably the best German player in the game at the moment. So
You could take a number of civilizations and just say that sentence.
yeah, I mean, actually, I don't know. Kaiser's really good at Germany. He's quite good at France, but I don't think he's the best at France. I don't know.
Who do you
Maybe
think the strongest player is currently?
in terms of tournaments, it's Kaiser. I think.
If you were, okay, yeah, I don't know. I was going to put some like dumb restriction. I mean, Dyreg is obviously. So yeah, I wanted your opinion whilst we waited for this game to start.
Oh, apparently it's not going to start even. But I
Then
don't
you
think
can
about
give me your in-depth analysis.
the thing
I
about
shall look forward to it.
the thing about Dairoga is Dairoga even himself. When I asked him about Lamb, who he's worried about, he said Kaiser. What tends to happen, according to him, is that Lord Raphael is sort of countered by Dairoga's playstyle, and Kaiser ends up countering Dairoga, and Lord Raphael and Kaiser are sort of 50-50, right? So I think if you just had like a best of 9 between the two players, I believe Kaiser probably would come up on top. But again, it's in the tournament format, you can't really say, because in a way, the seeding, you end up getting different players versus different players. But I mean, you can't say a definitive best player. I think at the moment it's probably Lord Raphael, Kaiser, Mito, or Dairoga, one of the four.
All right. Basically, yeah. You just pick some really strong names. All right, shall we get into this? I better adjust my scoreboard.
Do you want to do the intro, or shall I do the intro?
Yeah, I can do the intro. So this is game number 4 in a best of 9 series between Kaiserklein and Mitoe. Kaiser is 3 points up to 0. Mitoe not performing so well in that previous game. They had a spot of trouble getting that TC down in otherwise what could have been sort of a much longer game, but did lose the TC, and that was pretty much it. So Kaiser finds himself up 3 points to 0, but this could be where Mitoe gets a point sort of back on the board. But could be challenging or will be challenging because Kaiser, as we know, very strong with Germany, and this is a trading post map. In fact, a very standard map. Lots of food, not really any unusual terrain in the center of the map to play around, and it's up
Oh,
against
that's
Dutch.
close. Do you
What
see
did
what
I miss?
Mitoe did there?
No, I
Mitoe,
was not looking.
Mitoe used his envoy to try and steal a treasure from Kaiser by using his envoy to pull his explorer forward. There is 90 coin he didn't actually pick up. I do hope Mitoe picks that up because that's just going to annoy him, knowing his form. But he's going to pick up 40 coin and probably go back. Although Kaiser might come across the same treasure, which won't be good. Although saying that, those two treasures, 90 coin and 40 coin for Dutch, are really strong. He did pick up, actually, another 40 coin and base. So Mitoe's getting really strong treasures for Dutch at the moment.
Yeah, coin treasures definitely helpful, but I'd say Kaiser's still ahead on actual content treasures. Oh, 90 coin, yeah, I did see that. That was
And
the
there's
most recent one.
even 50 coin down the bottom here if Mitoe can find that. I don't know if he's scouted it. He has scouted it, so he's probably going to go take that in a minute. But he's going to get 80 food, or there might be a contention for it.
Take the food first whilst you sit. Wow, that's ballsy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
Just
ballsy.
starts
Although,
going for it.
saying that if he can bring the envoy in, that envoy can just do sort of chip damage against Kaiser's Explorer, and he's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, but he might not get the treasure.
Oh,
Kaiser's
Mitoe.
going to take that from under his nose.
Although Mitoe might lose. Yeah, Kaiser might lose his Explorer here if Mitoe can micro this correctly. Yeah, there you go. He got it. Although the TC is quite close, so he's going to walk away there.
Yeah, he's not going to pursue.
Yeah, that 80 food was a bit ballsy for Mitoe, definitely. Although he does spot the CDB with 4 black bears, which he should be able to creep quite easily. Yeah, he should be able to creep this. There you go. So if he can get that CDB treasure, Mitoe or Kaiser's going to be a bit more reluctant to come out of base because of it. He might pick up this 60 wood, which would be nice, but Mitoe with that CDB treasure is nicer, which will even out the eco population. Obviously, the German eco at the start of the game is just incredible. And at the same time, yeah, Kaiser's going to pick up 60 wood. CDB is obviously going to get picked up by Mitoe if he can. Yeah, he's going to have a crack shot in a second. Oh, Mitoe's only got 44 HP, so this is going to be quite skillful if he can do this.
Be careful. He's doing a good job of it. I think he'll be okay after that bear sort of returning there. I think he'll kill this last one and the crack shot will be available. And,
That's really well done for Mitoe actually do it with that low HP. And obviously that CDB is also really nice because he can keep it up the top here and just use it to sort of prolong his Hansen base, which is what Dutch like to do. There's the bank going up for Mitoe.
Extra food just on the top of the map. But yeah, as you say, is now aging and is now up. And there's that first bank, gets it down well in time before getting up to the next stage. 400 wood now on the floor. And we'll see what sort of Mitoe has in mind, what he opens with, how he starts this game. He's up to age 2 first.
Yeah. And obviously Dutch normally goes up to age 2 first. Kaiser did have basically an idleness age up, which is quite nice for Germany at 17 villages, which is what you sort of like to see as Germany. 18's a bit rough if you end up having to do that. But Mitoe's obviously going to get out his banks. Maybe he'll go for 7 wood because Germany is a bit more relaxed. Germany does go for stable in base, but that's to be expected in this matchup. And yeah, I mean just as a whole, this is quite sort of standard gameplay from both players. 700 wood, which is the more greedy build, but he's going to get
second bank and a market there as well. So yeah, Mitoe going to start with the banks and not any military buildings there, but to follow quickly behind it, I imagine we'll see those military buildings. Kaiser coming in with his explorer, wants to figure out sort of what's going on, and going to get a few torch throws at that bank whilst it's sort of in production. But Mitoe, look at these buildings, very, very close to the town center. You know, keeping everything really, really compact. Nothing here is going to be sieged without that TC being in range. But Kaiser now 2 Ulans coming across the map. He's just sent that first 3 settler wagon shipment, which Germany so likes to send. And we'll see if we can get any work done. He shouldn't be able to, but maybe
he's
had
gonna
a
get a
sneaker
settler.
villager kill out. Yeah, Mitoe being a little bit, he's not pleased. You can see in the chat there, falling asleep. Gets a villager, really nice.
A bit sloppy from Mitoe there, maybe. But again, he's going to get a couple of banks up, and these Ulans aren't going to do anything. Although he might lose another settler. He's going to lose another settler, almost definitely. That is poor.
Oh, he's not going to be happy. Double.
Oh, a bank wagon!
Bank wagon! Oh my god, not again! Not again!
Oh, he's going to escape. Please escape. I want him to escape. Come on. Come on. No! Oh my god!
What?
That's 700 resources just down the drain.
2 games in a row!
Yeah, that's dreadful.
I mean, that was not good from Mitoe. It was a combination of many things. The buildings being so packed together, the trees and the hunts, and just finding it difficult to find a position. But also Kaiser was very clever. He took 1 Ulan off to block where he thought a foundation was going to be, and it was a very obvious place where the foundation would be. There's not really any other space for it to go, and manages to take it out. A mixture of Mitoe making a blunder, but also Kaiser combining that with the blunder being on point and taking out 2 buildings in 2 games. That's so, as you said, so many resources. Mitoe's probably not feeling good about this one either.
Honestly, he does ship 600 wood now, so he should be able to get his banks up. But obviously, I think that's probably worse for losing a TC as Portugal, because Dutch's early eco is just so strong when you get that bank out. He would be at 37 economic unit population at this point, but due to losing that, his timing was just awful.
More expensive. It's also like it generates resource.
Please don't. There you go. Mitoe nicely putting in his villagers there. Although he might lose his bank. He's hovering it up.
No, that's fine. But you might lose vills.
Yeah,
oh my god. Lana's so disgusting at raiding. There's another vill.
Oh,
I know it does get in, but
one. Yeah.
The chat's about to blow up. It's been about 2 minutes now. Oh dear.
See, this is the problem of having 2 minutes delay. We have to wait until we get our fun of seeing what we actually want to say. But there's even 5 crossbow coming out from Kaiser. We didn't see this. He's got a barracks mid-back, so he's being even more aggressive. And
okay, he killed the bank and just thought, right, well, that's a great advantage. I'll just stay colonial.
Oh, there's
Minutemen do come out, and that he's going to deal with the crossbowmen effectively. But Mitoe's so built up.
Yeah, he does get 8 pikemen out, and he cleans up the crossbow, which is nice, and he can quite easily age up now. But normally in this matchup, if you can force a Dutch player to send 8 pikemen, you're winning already, really, because
you're winning already if you kill the bank wagon.
I mean, if you just sending the pikemen is winning, but killing that bank wagon, you're steamrolling him.
Yeah. That is usually an indicator. If you can force the pikes, you feel pretty good about yourself. But they're so needed, right? Look, these villagers having to come out here to gather food. Kaiser now up in the fortress age. Okay, so Mitoe might have... this is something's finally gone his way. He's now able to perhaps take out a barracks that's in the middle of the map here with the pikemen, because Kaiser aged up and won't have anything to defend it for the time being. But that CDB is discovered and executed.
Yeah, Mitoe not being the luckiest player this game, even losing the CDB he got in age 1. But caveat to this, sending 8 pikemen, he can take down that barracks really easily. And he's even making more pikemen, so by the looks of it, he might even try and stay in age 2, which I think would just be a mistake. You don't want pikemen, you don't want skirmish. Obviously you want skirmishes, but you don't want pikemen against age 3 Germany. It just doesn't work too well. And this is just a big Gulag mass now, even from...
Gulan.
Ulan mass. I'm awfully sorry about
that. I think that's quite a fun way.
A Gulan, yeah.
Gulan. I don't know what Gulan is standing for, but is it like? Sounds like dragoons and Ulan, but Germany can't do that. So anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, this is a big mass. They're not veteran yet, but we might just see 9. I mean, if 9 Ulan comes in now from Germany, it's just, oh my god, look at all the villages which are going to go down.
Yeah.
He loses 1. That explorer is going to go down. And one thing which is nice about Dutch is they can challenge the skirmishers, on which a lot of civs can't do. But he's got no hunt in base. He's going to get pushed off here, and the pikes are too far away. He's going to lose so many villagers if he's not lucky. He does pull them away.
Yeah.
But I don't see this going well for...
5 hussars do come out, though, but... and they're on top of the skirms, which is kind of where he wants them to be. Let's see if those pikes can find their way onto the Uhlans. Kaiser going to use his classic pulling the skirms to try and get a bit of extra juice out of them.
Yeah, and a couple of war wagons do come in as well. I believe Kaiser's sent a mercenary shipment, so he's probably just sent Jaegers, which against age 2 Dutch is just insane. So yeah, Mitoe needs to age here. He's close to doing so, so maybe that mercenary shipment would buy him a bit of time. But it's not looking good for Mitoe.
No, but the scores are surprisingly even.
It's because of a mercenary shipment. Minus
yeah, when that arrives, it'll.
Oh no, it's not.
No.
How are they so even then? I'm actually quite amazed that they're so even. Oh well, Mitoe does have 5 banks, which is really strong.
Okay, so he did manage to get all 5 out at some point.
Doesn't have a hunt he can get to though. He does have a hunt over here, which he should probably herd in, but his tight building placement. Yeah, but they're just slow. Berries are just
not ideal.
Berries are just.
But I am
useless.
I am still of the opinion that every map should have berries on it in your base.
I like berries, but the problem is it makes it. Actually, yeah, I think berries are good. Honestly, I like in Age of Empires too how you go to them as well.
I feel like every map should have berries, just so like you don't go from not having any food to like no food at all. Right? At least you got something. Doesn't end the game immediately, but this could. That's a lot of units. I think he lost a few more villages there. Even more being forced into the TC. Kaiser now definitely veteran Uhlans and units streaming into the base here. Doesn't want to continue under the TC. I guess that's fair enough. Just sort of control these hunts.
There's
keep the villages away and win the game that way.
There's not a lot of skirmishes here actually for Mitoe. So for Kaiser. So if Mitoe Micros as well, a couple of Reuters coming out would actually do quite a lot of work against this army from Kaiser. So we're gonna have to probably see 9 Reuters coming in as well as a batch of 5 from the stable. More skirmishes are going to come in from Kaiser from the back. But Mitoe actually playing this really well, even though he's at such a deficit at this point.
Yeah, yeah. It's the power of berries, I'm telling you.
But yeah, he is stuck in base now. That coin mine only has 600 coin left. There is one directly below with a lot of herds, which are actually dead. So it's like we're watching Victor Swee play. But yeah, I mean, those berries, they are sustaining Mitoe's production.
You've never even watched Victor Swee.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know how old my ESO account is?
Oh, I didn't realise. I thought you were more recent.
No, my ESO account's from 2010. So it's older than yours. But
Interjection's from 2008.
Okay, maybe not. But Swiss Pikeman coming out. We didn't actually see that from Mitoe. So yeah, I mean, I was expecting Reuters, as you said, but yeah, Swiss Pikeman are actually quite interesting here. Obviously, demolish all the Ulan Kaiser has, and there's a church going up for Mitoe. Oh, there's the 13 Jaeger shipment. And this...
okay, now it's looking okay. I was thinking, yeah, Mitoe's like surprisingly in an okay spot, right? Like the Swiss Pike's gonna do lots of work versus these Uhlans, and it's only a few skirmishes there, and the Uhlans, the Warwag's not so good against them either. But yeah, 13 Jaegers and 5 extra skirms entering is gonna shut down the effectiveness of those Swiss Pikes quite decisively. I think we should say. That's a lot of skirm potential all of a sudden, and now starting to poke in on these villages. One does go down, and a second, possibly a third will go down, but definitely not going to be gathering that side. Mitoe, he's got a few hussars out as well. Let's see if he can... Religious freedom coming. Okay, so perhaps he can get the Stradiots and set up some kind of surprise timing under his TC. I really think that's sort of what he's hoping for here now. But Kaiser is perhaps a bit too wise to fall for that. He knows he can just sort of play it safe, poke around, shoot the old villager here and there, keep Mitoe away from these hunts and not gathering. Doesn't want to overcommit or risk it, so to speak, underneath the town centre, and is not going to do that.
Yeah, Mitoe is actually now taking veteran hussars, so he's going to go for a bit of a huss switch. And with religious freedom in, one thing which is nice is Mitoe can get down 2 more banks, which I think it's 2 more. It is, yeah, coffee traders 2 more banks. So that would represent probably the difference in the eco population. So Mitoe can bring that back up. And at the same time, Kaiser's running out of gold. There's only 1,000 gold in the bottom mine here, 1,500 in the second bottom mine. And there's nothing more there. But cavalry combat now coming in for Kaiser, and his units are just beefy. Izulan doing 50 damage a swing nearly, and having 250 HP.
Yeah. God, that's a lot of stuff from Germany now. That mass is really, really getting big. And cavalry combat now just coming in as well. And an arsenal going up in the middle of the map, of all places. But certainly some pretty good upgrades in there. And that will really round out. Once this mass is like a critical size now, that the arsenal becomes really quite strong. But Mitoe, yeah, religious freedom is now having the Stradiots in queue. And I think trying to lure him in, set up some kind of trap with these units, but isn't able to do it. So instead just has to train them and sort of go for it. He needs to secure my hunt. He needs to do something. Hussars come in from the side, but only take a few volleys from the war wagon. Let's see what he can do. These trees getting in the way, but can those Swiss pikemen find themselves on top of Ulan? Doesn't look like it. They're just sort of getting mowed down by those skirmishes, aren't they?
Yeah,
doesn't look good for them at all.
No, the Swiss pikemen just demolished her. Yeah, the Wild Gelders are getting on some units, which is quite nice, but I just think this is over 37 to 160, and GG coming in from Mitoe.
GG 4-0 so far. Could be clean sweep coming in from Kaiserklein. He's 1 point away from doing it. Yeah, not a good fight there. Trees messed you up.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good fight for Mitoe at all.
I'm just like really daunted now by how difficult my game is going to be to make because there are so many goddamn units in Age of Empires 3.
There's so many useless units you never actually see. Like, I don't think I've ever seen, like, ever basically in a casted game, Yonjimbos coming out. Which, or however you say them, the Japanese, like, light cavalry, which is also, like, a cuirassier. Do you know what they are?
Well, I've heard it before, but I couldn't.
And there's also stuff like Blind Monks, which is a saloon unit, which has is a skirmisher, which has a multiplier versus villagers. And like,
well, that sounds really helpful. Yeah.
But
sounds like a lot of YouTube content, if you ask me.
Yeah, but Mitoe not looking so good, going 4 down. But I mean, it's Mitoe. We've seen him go 5-4 before when he was 4 down in Iron Turk. And
that was a brilliant series.
It was a brilliant series, and it's New England, which is a map which Kaiser doesn't have really any picks left on.
New England. Yeah, Mitoe, pardon me, Kaiser's played his Ottoman, hasn't he? Oh, well, I never Spain.
I've never seen Kaiser play Spain.
Yeah,
seriously. I've seen him play on stream a bit. He's okay, but he's not most stellar Spain. Mitoe might play China, and if we go back to a newer championship?
New World Championship.
We saw Tabern Revolt as Spain, so maybe we'll see that again.
Yeah, maybe we will. We also saw Diariga perform some magic with China on New England. I just don't know if Mitoe would be down for that sort of strat. It was very predictable what Diariga did because he kept doing it, but it was very effective. With the Fushuan and just that's such a strong shipment.
Yeah, the shipment is pretty insane because you send like a frigate to attack it and ends up losing because the other one has like 200 extra HP or something. But Purple Squid just subscribed to ESOC for 13 months in a row, so that must have been at tier 2 as well. So that's what, £10?
Oh wow, tier 2.
I don't know if they get any more emotes.
I think in theory you should. Oh, that's a good point. I might add. No, I think actually I will add at some point anyway. I've got all the escape emotes. I'll put them on all the AoE 3 escape emotes. I'll put them on the ESOC channel, so they're sort of preserved. I was going to put them on my channel, but I don't stream, so who gives a shit really? I'll just put them on ESOC.
But yeah, I mean, thank you for subscribing for so long. 13. That must be like the first month ESOC got a subscriber on Twitch. I don't know how long I've had it for, but yeah, I mean,
I've got 14 months.
I say maybe it's not. I don't know how long it is then.
I think I've got 14 months. Hello, I'll type in founder, 14-month subscriber.
14 months. There you go. So yeah, he was one of the first, obviously. But
what do you think Mitoe will play? He's got Dutch selected now, but
he won't play Dutch against Spain.
Yeah.
Dutch.
No, yeah. Dutch don't do. I know this matchup well. I'm
yeah,
like
like
a lot of Spain in my time.
All you do is you ship 2 Falconets and Dutch can't do anything, right? Because you just lose all your bags from afar. So, but we might play Ottoman. Ottoman's incredibly good on this map. You can play Portugal. We saw him play at Portugal earlier, but unfortunately that didn't work too well.
Mitoe just doesn't seem like an Otto kind of guy.
I don't know. I mean, Mitoe plays a lot, but the weirdest thing is I don't cast so much of his games, or very many of his games, so I don't really know what he plays. I know he plays China. He can play Japan as well, but I'm not entirely sure he played Japan into Spain.
Yeah, it's tricky finding a New England matchup. I love how New England's become like in the map pool, thanks to it's become a competitive map.
It's an interesting map, isn't it? Because you have the 2 ponds, which sort of add the main dynamic, and the trading post line is quite nice because it's so close to both players. But yeah, I like this map actually. I like it quite a lot. There's also sheep, which everyone always seems to forget to remember. But remember, that's not.
No, I was quite impressed. That sounds like really profound sort of. Radio BBC.
Well, no, forget to remember. I mean, it doesn't make any sense because I don't know. I don't know what that means.
That's why it sounds so profound. Just remember it.
Yeah, because it's a bit modern-esque and
maybe you will remember to forget. That one makes even less sense. So just be happy you didn't say that. Something else that people forget to remember is that the trading posts, the native trading posts. Okay, China coming out. I think we were kind of expecting that to happen. Do give you, I think, 300 or 3,000 or some number of gold. It's one of those big buttons after 30 minutes.
It's Huron. They give you 15 Huron mantlets.
Mantlets. Okay, so not resources, just
which are actually really good against civs, which have a lot of skirms because they just tank. But
or are just really good in general. After 30 minutes, you get an incredible amount of value for not all that much. So I think there's some pretty good upgrades at Huron, particularly for fishing.
15% on fish. 25% actually on fishing. Cherokee actually, because the TPs are either Cherokee or Huron on this map. Cherokee have one where you get 4 settlers for like 200 wood or something, or 200 wood, 200 gold, which is really quite nice because it's basically a 4 villager shipment.
Here we go. And yes, I do. I got something I really want to do. Discuss the native villages in videos. That sounds like a great topic. But I got to finish my scenario first. That's first on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, let's let's introduce this game number 5 in a best of 9 series between Kaiserklein and Mitoe. Match point for Kaiser. Yes, you heard match point. So currently up 4 points to 0. Really quite strong lead at the moment. Mitoe having sort of 2 rocky games in a row where he lost a town center wagon and then a bank wagon. I don't think I've seen so many wagons lost in a competitive series or indeed a grand final before. Mitoe saying he's never lost a bank wagon before, but I suppose that there is a first for everything. But let's see if Mitoe can pull it back. We have seen him perform a reverse sweep before, and I'm not just saying that as a caster because we need to make everything sound absolutely wonderful and exciting. I do genuinely, I do come from a place of having seen that happen before against I Am Turk, who is also quite a strong player. So Mitoe has done it before, and we have seen great things from him. Perhaps he can do it again, or at least get a point on the board. I don't think he would like to go out of this series, out of this grand final, without scoring a point. But either way, he will come second, which is a big achievement in and of itself. Let's see what he can do. Playing as, indeed, China, finding himself 2 goats, pardon me, lambs. His goat, speaking of goats, is in the back there, sort of scouting out, comes across a nearly mature bear cub, and if it went a bit further, would actually find 2 sheep. But I think at the 1 minute 15 mark, it's suddenly become a bit perhaps risky to scout with the goat. Your opponent's war dog might be behind you or something like that and could find your goat. He knows, though, where Kaiserklein's explorer is because, frustratingly, it is attacking his explorer, building up the trading post.
And obviously, as Spain, you don't tend to go for a TP age 1. Normally, you just go for 15 villager age upright. And he's going to get 80 food and probably pick off this last bear. Although there's going to be a bit of a contention between the 2 players.
Can he do it? Can he do it?
I hope Mitoe gets it. He lost the last one, so...
Oh,
it's close.
Kaiserklein's treasure.
It is Kaiser's, but he's yeah, he's going to get away at least.
To be fair, that was Kaiser's treasure to take. He started taking it, so in rights it sort of belonged to him. He started going for it first, but of course you're always going to try for the sneaky steal. But sneaky steal, that sounds like a name or something.
Oh, there's a bit of a contention between the 2 sheep. Mitoe might be able to get on.
At least he does get that. Yeah, that was also a sneaky steal. I think he should rename his explorer to Sneaky Steal.
Oh, a forward village from Mitoe.
Oh, okay.
Right, there you go. That's really interesting. And by the looks of it, Kaiser may not have scouted it. Oh god, I can't press F. There you go.
What a great use of the trading post. Keeping those.
Oh yeah, that is really cool actually.
Yeah, I like that. Gonna keep them safe. Yeah, village going up sort of in the middle here. So you're going to use that as a sort of a jumping off point for forward shipments in perhaps the fortress days or indeed even the colonial age. Perhaps we'll see him send something like 8 Quang pikemen or indeed the Chocanu. We've seen Mitoe send colonial age shipments before, and it could be quite effective to take down the trading post that Spain is undeniably going to sort of go for. And also remember that people like to move their forward outposts on this map, and that forward village there could help stop that should he send units to it. Either way, against Spain, they're going to be trying some sort of fast fortress almost all of the time. It would be unusual to see them not do that just because of the way the Civ is. So forward village is not as risky as in other matchups. So forward village there. We'll see how that sort of pans out. But Kaiser now going up to the next stage. Quite excited to see how he plays this. And already quite an interesting strategy from him, seeing ATP. And also going up with 500 food, which is not what we usually see from Spain. So quite exciting, quite different things here.
Mitoe's building his wonder forward, which is really odd. What is he doing here?
I think those villagers are trying to batter the villa. I don't know. Okay,
I
thought for a moment they wanted to go into hand combat and sort of beat her down, which they would be effective at doing. But yeah, that was just some weird pathing there. Okay, going to abandon the trading post, but at least he's got the foundation down. I suppose that's what
he wanted the foundation down. And that explorer does 0 damage against the villager. What Mitoe's doing here as well is he does quite a lot. He's not putting any villagers on the wonder, and he's just letting it build itself. And you get a very slow age 2 time, but at the same time, you get up to the fortress age at roughly the same time, skip 700 coin, and due to that, you end up being able to ship another shipment in the fortress age, which is probably where this village is coming in. He's probably going to go up with the Confucian Academy, and just use that to use it to push forward really quickly, actually, which would be really quite nice on Kaiser. For Mitoe, even so.
Classic sort of signature Mitoe FF, I think we can call it. Kaiser trying to take the trading route, though, and has been quite effective at that so far. He's gotten, by the looks of it, 3 out of the 4 available trading posts. 700 coin now on the floor there, and that 500 food starting to make sense that he aged up with. Going to use that in combination with the coin, and because he's gone for so many trading posts, and because he's sent ATP and it's slowing everything down, that 500 food going to help him get up at approximately the same time, sort of as usual. Kind of funny that just as Mitoe is hitting up to the colonial age, there it is.
Kaiser's going to be
Kaiserklein
aging.
will be clicking the Fortress Age button.
Yeah, and Mitoe's not going to get too slowly himself. One thing I don't like about what Mitoe's done here is he's left the sheep quite far away from his town centre. Normally what you want to do as China, if you're doing this, is you want to eat the sheep in transition so you can age up even quicker. Kaiser now moving the home city shipment, which tells me that he's going up with the Admiral of the Ocean Sea. So he's going to get a frigate there, not frigate, a caravel. And that caravel is just going to sort of harass everything Kaiser has near it. And you might even lose that village, which would be really rough.
Very welly.
Very welly, yeah. And Kaiser's now getting a barracks down next to that trading post, which is nice, so he's going to take that down quite quickly. And we'll just have to wait and see what Mitoe ages up with. It's either going to be the tower or the, what's it called, Confucian Academy. It is the Academy, which is 8 skirmishers, which is quite a nice shipment if he puts it forward.
Yeah, okay. It probably will come forward to the village.
Do you know what would be really cool actually about the UI if we could do it? If
What's that?
I know Asia's updating it as well. If we could see where the shipment point was of the civilization, so you could see if he's shipping to the village or shipping to the town centre.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just not possible unless you have unhard coded patch, which we now do. So perhaps in future iterations we get some black magic, but for now it's just not possible. But I mean, what we've got is pretty good. But I am looking forward to seeing the next generation. That is going to be very exciting, for sure.
Yeah. On beta you can actually see where the players are looking, or the explorers looking, or whatever, which is really cool.
I mean. Yeah, what you mean, like the waypoints?
Yeah. Where they're going,
like
so not where they're looking.
Here we go. He could Caravelli Welly take out this War Academy, and looks like Mitoe's just going to delete it. And
that village going down isn't good at all.
No, he's going to garrison in there, which will achieve anything. Oh no, he's going to kill the War Academy.
The Chinese guy just coming forward, and he just throws one torch in it. Probably is going to buy him enough time, actually. Yeah, it's going to buy him enough time just doing that, which is quite nice.
Tanking a volley with his stomach.
He gets so much HP, that guy. He gets like 1,000 in the next age. And it's just insane. 5 Lancers coming out. That's an interesting shipment. So there's Rodoleros being built from Kaiser's barracks. He's going to take down that... Mitoe moving his shipment point, and Mitoe just dropped 200 gold, so I think he's just shipped to Fukan.
Oh, 5 Lancers! But look at that. Those pikemen are just going to get in the gap there and protect their Chokanu buddies. Not for long, though.
He's targeting the explorers, so those pikemen have just done so much more damage than they should have done. He's now skillfully taking the sheep away.
But they still... is he going to chase down the sheep?
He's fine. Mitoe now has I don't know what army's called. It's the Changdao army, which has the skirmishers as well. That village is unfortunately going to go down, but thankfully for Mitoe, I think there's a Fukan, which is going to pop in just a second.
Yeah, that's going to be what he needs.
He's even popping Minutemen from his town centre, and he's going to come forward.
Defend. Look at that. Defends the War Academy there.
Oh no, intervention out. That's not what I thought was going to come out. That's 9
Either
red
way,
coats.
he's in a fine spot. Like, because there were so few lancers, the arquebusier were able to pose enough threat to the rods, and is not going to lose the War Academy there. But did lose a village, which is going to be a shame for him, and you can see he's still sort of popped because of it. But Mitoe finds himself in the Fortress Age, and he only paid a village for it, so I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, and even though Spain has got all these TPs up, the power of China really is just massing loads of units. So there's the Fukan, which is insane as a boat. Let's look.
I know. Oh, look! It's just a. It's gone. Not even a single damage on the first one.
Yeah, and at least one, I think probably 2 of these trading posts are going to go down, and the ATP. Actually, that one forward one's going to go down as well. And what can Kaiser do? He can't actually contest this area. 2 falconets do come out, but the Fukan does have range on the falconets, 28 to...
28 range is more than a falconet, or the same as a falconet, actually, I think.
And if Mitoe can get sort of meteor hammers out, and I believe he had a shipment for it, those falconets aren't really that scary. If you can get those long firing Chinese artillery, not artillery, what am I saying? Long firing Chinese cavalry out.
Here we go, though. So many hit points on that boat. Those falconets are just not really going to be a threat to it. But I don't think they're in range yet, or at the moment. And he's just making sure that they're kiting away from the coast, which is sensible. Does take down that War Academy and can move on to the very forward-placed Summer Palace, which is more or less an eco building. So Kaiser going to be able to take that out.
Yeah, it's roughly 4 villages in the Summer Palace when it goes down, so it's pretty.
Is that what you've worked it out?
Well, I didn't work it out. Someone else did. I just copied their numbers. But I mean, Spain is losing the eco advantage they had. They might even lose. No, that TP is going to stay up for just a second more. But yeah, if Mitoe can get out some meteor hammers and get a good pick on these falconets, Spain's army is not scary in the slightest.
No.
For China here.
I mean, it's a shame that this Summer Palace is so far forward. Because nice volley, good. Kaiserklein diligent. It says the 7 hand mortars, so let's see how this goes. I was going to say, like, even if he doesn't send them, the Fushwan is protecting everything from behind. Those cannons can't really get too close to that boat. But here we go. The hand mortars are going to absolutely assassinate. Is going to, and there we go. 1 falconet down.
And the second one going to come down, and the frigate does get posted here, but what matters...
Culverins!
Oh, yeah, that's quite big, though, so Culverins, actually. Although they are Oh, and another falconet being trained by from Kaiser. But let's have a look at the fight here. I think, I don't know who's winning this. I think Kaiser is just demolishing this, actually, with the lancers.
Yeah, I think so. I think those culverins made... and the lancers, goodness me, they really did smash him.
Yeah, and these couple of skirmishes aren't going to be too useful. That frigate, and there's 2 culverins coming in at the perfect time, actually.
Yeah.
And this is
yeah.
Imagine if those hand mortars were meteor hammers instead. It would have just been a different story, I think, maybe. But I mean, there's 4 lancers coming in. Mitoe resigning. So that's 5-0 to Kaiser.
5-0, very well done. A decisive victory. I think Kaiserklein just showing us what he's made of.
Yeah, exactly. And Mitoe may be slightly disappointed here. He does take home a decent prize there. He takes them like I think probably $150 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, Kaiser being crowned the champion of the Grand Tour Season 3, which is I think Mitoe's being a bit hard on himself. He played very well up to this point.
Bit of I think Mitoe just disappointed with his performance.
Yeah, I mean,
has a feeling of some despair going on right now, which is understandable. But there is certainly that. Well done to Kaiserklein.
Definitely, yeah. Well done to Mitoe as well for getting so far in the tournament and performing so well up to this point. But yeah, there's Mitoe going out. But yeah, Kaiser just playing incredibly well throughout all these games. And you could just see by the military unit population how that timing of that frigate just paid off so well, and ended up Mitoe not being able to capitalise on the Fukan, which is a very powerful shipment, but two Culverins just demolish it.
God, I'm really excited for that scenario I keep going on about.
You need to stop teasing it. You need to put it out.
I've been making it all day, but I reckon tomorrow I'll come into a roadblock and it'll be like I probably will never finish it. But I think I'm excited by it.
Yeah, and
It's going to be very casual. I mean, you just like pick units that you think would make a good comp, and you have to also bear in mind that you can't like kite. So what usually makes a good comp will be different. And the units literally just fight. It's like I don't know if you've auto battlers coming out. So I thought I'd make basically an RTS one where you don't have any control over the units that are fighting. You just pick the units that will fight.
Do you remember from when you're a little bit older than me, but there used to be a show on like CBBC called like it was like I don't know what it was called. I can't actually remember, but it was like Bionicles or something weird where you had to like design like
a robot.
A robot.
But like the Zambinis?
Or something like that. I don't know what it was called, but it was pretty cool. And you can still download the program to make them now, which is the coolest part of it. But
So for those wondering, there's just like these robot biological sort of virtual monsters that would fight each other, and then the best ones, this TV show would like invite the creator down to their like studio, and you'd watch them fight, and it was 10-year-olds loved it, and we were 10 at the time, so it's great.
Looking back on it, it's probably awful now, but
a lot of children's TV. It was pretty bad.
Tracy Beaker was the fucking worst. God, useless bloody program. But anyway, I think that's us done for tonight.
Yes, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you for watching.
That was good fun.
It was good fun. Yeah.
Well done, Kaiser. I think Mitoe going to be a bit upset with that performance. Few mistakes, losing those wagons, but entertaining viewing, I hope.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching.
Good night. Yeah. More TWC action to come.